To discuss, let's bring in our left-right panel. Joining us on the right is New York GOP committeewoman at the 29th District and political analyst Cherie Murray. And on the left, we have former New York State Democrat Senator David Carlucci. He's also a Democratic strategist and attorney. Afternoon to you both. Happy New Year. So White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the administration is looking into revoking citizenship of Somali Americans in the Minnesota fraud case. What's your reaction to President Trump's comments alleging larger fraud in New York, Illinois, and California, all Democrat strongholds? David, I'll start with you here, and then we'll get Cherie's reaction.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Great to be with you this morning or this afternoon. And look, we have to take fraud extremely seriously. We have to root it out wherever it exists. We want to make sure that the money that it's intended to go to serve vulnerable residents, it's going to the place that it needs to go to. So that's number one. I think we can all agree with it. The unfortunate part is what the Trump administration is doing is something different. They are targeting a specific community and making it political. The fact that now the punishment for alleged fraudsters is denaturalization is a step that has gone too far, and it's sending this chilling message to people about, hey, be quiet, get in line, and maybe you should think about changing your political registration. This is a real problem. We need someone that's going to lead the way. And when I hear that they're just turning off funds, about over $100 million, maybe $180 million worth of funding to Minnesota, that's not leadership. Anyone can turn the spigot off. It takes true leadership to make sure that the people that need those monies, those funds, are getting the money that they need. So I know it's a difficult situation, but we can't make this political. We have to get to the crux of the problem and fix it.
Cherie, I want to get your reaction in just a second, but CNN confronted independent journalist Nick Shirley about his reporting. Let's watch.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
So, Cherie, CNN got a response from one daycare center saying they are a legitimate business. Shirley has public records, though, and he went knocking on doors throughout Minneapolis to build his case. I mean, how long can legacy media ignore this story? Because it is massive. I've watched the video several times now, 42 minutes. I encourage everyone to do so. Over 140 million views, or 135 million and growing. I mean, how can the media ignore this story?
That is what the liberal media does. They kowtow to the Democratic Party and cover up for them in most instances. You know, we saw 98 convictions come down for people in Minnesota, and it's a large majority of them are from the Somali community. And so when David says, you know, it's political, it's not political. President Trump was elected on a mandate of clamping down on fraud, waste, and abuse, and that's what he's doing. A large majority of the American people support what the administration is doing, and what Caroline Leavitt said is just on par with the administration's policies. We need to clamp down on illegal migrants taking advantage of our social services, our social nets. You know, Minnesota is prime for fraud, and we're seeing it unfold. And the president brought up New York, Chicago, and California as other states that will soon be investigated.
Well, speaking of New York, moments after the ball dropped in Times Square, Zohran Mamdani was sworn in as mayor of New York City. The 34-year-old Queens State Assemblyman was sworn in on a Quran. And from USA Today, love him or hate him, why Americans are obsessed with Zohran Mamdani. Quote, Mayor Zohran Mamdani is a New York phenomenon, but his democratic socialist message has an audience far beyond the city's 5 boroughs. So, David, in less than an hour, Mayor Mamdani will have the ceremonial swearing in on the steps of City Hall, where Senator Bernie Sanders will administer the oath of office. NewsMax will carry that live. What do you think will be Mayor Mamdani's influence on the Democrat Party across the nation? I mean, you also served in New York government.
Yeah, look, I think he's going to have an influence, of course, like any New York City mayor does. But here in New York, it is a two-way street. You have to get consensus from Albany, from state legislators, to do a lot of the pieces of the Mamdani agenda. So I think he's going to make some waves. He's going to have attention and really be an advocate for the city of New York in terms of what he believes could work. But yes, it's not going to be easy. We know that. It's going to be difficult. But I think what Mamdani is doing, and shares some characteristics with President Trump, is this idea that whether we agree with it or not, but these bold ideas, right? Build the wall, free busing. When you can get people to really understand your platform, and maybe not just that specific, right? Because I could criticize Trump for not completing the wall, something that he said he was going to do. But it's beyond that, right? It's that message of, hey, this is about immigration, border security. Mamdani's message is about affordability. And I think that's what's resonating with New Yorkers. And you even see from exit polling, we see that quite a few people that actually voted for Donald Trump voted for Mamdani. And we saw that interaction in the White House with Mamdani and President Trump. They seem to get along. And I think they will be working together to try to better the quality of lives of people in New York City.
Yeah, Cherie, real quick, 30 seconds, your reaction. Day one, here we are. Zohran Mamdani is mayor of New York.
It is a new era for New York, for America, and we are seeing socialism alive and well. You know, he was sworn in on the Quran. Actually, he took the oath yesterday, this morning rather, with Letitia James under City Hall. And so, you know, he's using his grandfather and grandmother's Quran and also a Quran on loan from the New York Library. And that loan actually historically came from the Middle East. And so, you know, there's a lot to be said about his tenure. He unveiled yesterday 5 new members of his administration, at the tip before midnight. And so we'll see what he has in store for, you know, New Yorkers. But I do believe we're in for a rough road ahead. But a new generation is taking over, and we'll see how that takes shape.
Right. I like that emphasis. We will see. On that note, unfortunately, we have to go. Thank you, Cherie Murray and David Carlucci. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Happy New Year.
You too. Happy